ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for NASSP's 2020 Virtual Awards Recognition event. To begin the festivities, please welcome NASSP President Peter Krasinski.
Good afternoon, and welcome to NASSP's Award Recognition event. NASSP created this event to honor those leaders who have contributed to the profession of the school leadership in special ways, either through their service to their professional organization or by modeling the high quality leadership that helps students reach their full potential. It's inspiring and maybe even a bit intimidating to consider that much of our nation's best school leadership talent is gathered here on Zoom. We have NASSP board members elected by their peers to give their time and talents to the stewardship of NASSP. We have past NASSP presidents whose service have been invaluable for setting the direction of NASSP. We have our assistant principals of the year who have distinguished themselves for their exceptional school leadership. We have current and past digital principals of the year who have made the most of current technology to get the best from their students. Each of you is uniquely remarkable and uniquely deserving of the distinction you receive. And NASSP is proud to hold you up as models of the great leadership happening in today's schools. And now it is my pleasure to introduce someone who knows a thing or two about great leadership herself. NASSP Executive Director, JoAnne Bartoletti.
Good afternoon and welcome to this 2020 Awards Recognition event. One of the most important things we do at NASSP is elevate models of school leadership so our peers, policymakers, and those outside the education community can see the possibilities. We'll recognize some extraordinary individuals today in our Digital Principals of the Year, Assistant Principals of the Year, and Distinguished Service Award winners. Preparing for this event gave me occasion to think about what sets great leaders apart from their peers. It's not necessarily that you know more than your peers or that your skills are better, although both may be true. And it's not necessarily that you are more deeply committed than your peers to empowering each student to become their best selves. All leaders share that commitment in common. Well, let me describe what I think sets you apart. First, you vision boldly. It's easy and sometimes even tempting to rely on the traditional, predetermined templates of educational systems. But you ask that all-important question, what if? You have a clear notion of where you want to go, and you're willing to experiment with different and creative ways to get there. The second characteristic that sets you apart is you sense and seize opportunity. Your vision is a lens that allows you to see the opportunity in every encounter, to learn more about what motivates and challenges the people in your care, or to discover a bold new strategy for overcoming an obstacle, and even to redefine a limitation as a strength. Of course, you don't always have to invent new ways to get things done. In fact, many times you identify a successful practice and creatively adapt it for your own use. That's a good thing. And it brings me to the third characteristic that binds you all, your incredible commitment to connectedness. Through all your successes and your near misses, you share your experiences transparently so that the larger leadership community can benefit from what you have learned. Just as important, you position yourselves to encounter as many fresh ideas as you can. You expose yourself to as many opportunities as possible so you can identify the ones that have the most promise. And you're not afraid to make mistakes and to own them. As you hear from and about our award recipients, listen for these themes. You will find countless instances. These awardees represent a body of smart, thoughtful people committed to a common goal, educating young people through dedicated leadership that gives each student what they need to fulfill their greatest potential. So today, we salute all of you for your individual accomplishments. but we also salute the larger community of school leaders. We celebrate all that our school communities have empowered us to become. We celebrate and salute you for always bearing in mind the greater good, and that is the young people we serve. And now, back to Peter.
Thank you, JoAnne. Now it is my pleasure to recognize the NASSP Assistant Principals of the Year. The Assistant Principals of the Year represent each of your states and the District of Columbia. The outstanding assistant principals that make up this group demonstrate their commitment to their students, schools, and professions every day. Their leadership showcases success in the rising student achievement and leading a culture in which students thrive. We believe your accomplishments and leadership show us how important it is to engage students in order to improve their performance. We are now proud to introduce the 2020 NASSP State Assistant Principals of the Year.
Alabama, from Buckhorn High School, Jennifer West. Alaska, from Kenai Middle School, Daniel Beck. Arizona, from Sahuarita Unified School District, Sahuarita High School, Beth Lear. Arkansas, from Springdale High School, Dawn Eichenberger. Colorado, from Lesher Middle School and IB World School, Warren Morrow. Connecticut, from Trumbull High School, Todd Manuel. Delaware, from Cape Henlopen High School, Kyle Bentley. District of Columbia, from School Without Walls at Francis Stevens Educational Campus, Shayna Young. Florida, from Tuscaloosa Middle School, Melissa Ladani. Georgia, from Mary Persons High School, Tammy Marion. Hawaii, from Eva Mackay Middle School, Larissa Gaydach. Idaho, from Thunder Ridge High School, Craig Miller. Indiana, from Homestead High School, Susan Summers. Iowa, from Franklin Middle School, Sean Baylor. Kentucky, from Highlands High School, Jeffrey Schneider. Maine, from Bonnie Eagle High School, Aaron McGuire. Maryland, from Calvert High School, Catherine Sutton. Massachusetts, from Joseph Case High School, Christopher Costa. Michigan, from Warren Woods Tower High School, Colleen Gruben. Minnesota, from Bemidji Area School District, Jill Walter. Mississippi, from Northwest Rankin High School, Matt Buchanan. Missouri, from Pattonville High School, John Fitzgerald. Montana, from Dawson County High School, John Larson. Nebraska, from Schuyler Central High School, James Kosick. New Mexico, from Career Enrichment Center and Early College Academy, Rebecca Florians. New York, from Shenandoah High School West, Kristen Lennon McMahon. North Carolina, from Southwest High School, Carl Caruthas. North Dakota, from West Fargo High School, Wayne Sampson. Ohio, from Findlay High School, Meg Simon. Oklahoma, from Jenks High School, Eric Fox. Oregon, from Dexter McCarty Middle School, Amy Nims. Pennsylvania, from Orfield Middle School, Monica Oliyul. Rhode Island, from Narragansett High School, Toby Gibbons. South Carolina, from Carolina Springs Middle School, Leah Sarantopoulos. South Dakota, from Waterton Middle School, Chad Johnson. Tennessee, from Bartlett High School, Kevin Gideon. Texas, from Midway Middle School, April Harris. Utah, from Oquirrh Hills Middle School, Audrey Fish. Vermont, from Twinfield Union School, Robert Gallardo. Virginia, from Bailey Bridge Middle School, Rebecca Harmon. Washington, from Cedar Heights Middle School, Joby Flint. West Virginia, from Dunbar Middle School, Matt Rhodes. Wisconsin, from Arrowhead Union High School, Debra Paradowski. Wyoming, from Johnson Junior High School, James Whitehead. Congratulations to all of our state honorees. Now, once again, NASSP President Peter Krasinski.
An expert panel reviewed the applications of the State Assistant Principals of the Year and selected 3 as finalists for the title NASSP National Assistant Principal of the Year. The first finalist is Audrey Fish, Oquirrh Hills Middle School, Riverton, Utah. Audrey has served as an assistant principal for 10 years. When it comes to leadership, her approach is transparent, reflective, and collaborative. These traits have helped foster a culture of safety and well-being at Oquirrh Hills Middle School. In schools, it is imperative that each student teacher feels nurtured during the educational experience. Nurturing is different from just looking out for someone or something. It is caring for and encouraging someone's growth or development. Throughout her career, Audrey has nurtured others and been nurtured. One of her proudest success stories occurred in the last 2 years when she implemented an instructional coaching model at the school. Non-evaluative feedback by peers to improve behavioral, emotional, and cognitive engagement has had a positive impact on teaching and student learning. The next finalist is John Fitzgerald, Pattonville High School, Maryland Heights, Missouri. John is most proud of the career readiness initiatives and programs that Pattonville High School has built over the past 7 years. The school created 4-year pathways in computer science, engineering, biomedical science, nursing, fashion, and interior design, education and teaching, and culinary skills, in addition to traditional core academic offerings. Among these endeavors was also the development of a nursing simulation lab to ensure that the certified nursing assistant students had the ability to train extensively prior to going out and doing their clinical work. These pathways allow students to gain a great depth of experience in their chosen areas of interest. Fitzgerald listens to the teachers and students, supports their ideas, and works with them to ensure that they have agency and are able to develop upon their ideas to completion, which has been a tremendous positive effect on the school community. And now our third finalist is Debra Paradowski, Arrowhead Union High School, Hartland, Wisconsin. Debra believes a healthy, safe, and positive school culture that supports students and staff is paramount for learning and a sense of belonging. She collaborated with staff on whole school approaches to promote and support well-being, engagement, and social emotional development. Debra started a student-centered group called Students Leaving a Mark, SLAM, to improve and promote intellectual social emotional learning, motivation, and resilience to improve school culture. By giving students a voice in their school routines, they were empowered to become confident learners. Opportunities were created for students to demonstrate leadership skills and guide the school in the right direction. Students made decisions about topics that they wanted to address and outlined their action steps. The school observed an increase in positive behavior, attendance, academic accomplishments, and pride. Congratulations to our finalists. A second panel reviewed the 3 finalists to determine which of these extraordinary leaders would receive the title National Assistant Principal of the Year. I am honored now to present the 2020 NASSP National Assistant Principal of the Year to Debra Paradowski, Assistant Principal of Arrowhead Union High School.
This is a very joyous occasion for me, and I'm so honored that you selected me as the National Assistant Principal of the Year amongst all the deserving and talented administrators. Serving my Arrowhead community has been a pleasure and a privilege that I'm grateful for every single day. It makes me feel good that people value what has been accomplished at Arrowhead High School, and it motivates me to keep working hard for our students, staff, and families. I would like to congratulate and recognize my fellow assistant principal finalists, Audrey and John Fitzgerald, for I'm humbled to represent our collective efforts and commitment to our school communities. Thank you, NASSP and staff, for all the tremendous support and professional development you provide to our profession. The membership is priceless. I would also like to acknowledge my superintendent, Laura Myra, and principal, Greg Wichorek, for their belief, trust, encouragement, and empowering me with the opportunity to lead students and staff. This truly has been an opportunity to learn about their lives, passions, and strengths, and impact their school culture one voice at a time. Up until this award, I would run from the cameras and shy away from public recognition. This process has pushed me out of my comfort zone, and that is okay, for we all need to be challenged and pushed to continue our growth within the profession. Representing you this next year will be a great task, but one that I will embrace fully and with pride. Lastly, I would like to thank my family and friends for their unwavering support, my mentors for the late night pep talks, and the baristas at the local coffee chain for starting my day off right. Of course, I can't leave this virtual stage without recognizing the amazing teachers, students, and families in the Arrowhead School District for inspiring me every day to be my best, to keep learning, and to never forget the value of our students' education. I love what I do and will always cherish and remember with gratitude all that have been influential in my journey. Remember to keep smiling, and like Mark Anthony once said, if you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. Thank you all, and stay healthy.
Thank you, Debra, and congratulations. I'm now excited to announce our Digital Principals of the Year. Each of these school leaders has exhibited bold, creative leadership in using technology to support teaching, learning, and school management in order to further learning goals. Digital Principals of the Year are selected based on the dimensions of the Building Ranks Framework for School Leadership, the International Society of Technology and Education Standards for Administrators, and the application of those skills for school improvement. Our first honoree is Robert Eichorn of Independence Nontraditional School in Manassas, Virginia. Robert believes that eliminating technology barriers to create educational equity for the most at-risk students and those who serve them begins with a vision of learner and staff-centered access, modeling applications as a team, and continually evaluating and celebrating successes. Every student and staff member at Independence Nontraditional School is provided with one-to-one access to digital technology on and off-site. As a new principal in 2009, Eichorn set out to help socioeconomically disadvantaged students by using available resources in a tuition-free and cost-effective manner to ultimately increase graduation rates while reducing dropout rates for high school students. Independence Nontraditional School expanded all virtual and blended learning options for students enrolled directly at the school, while simultaneously offering several hundred seats to students enrolled at all other district high schools. Congratulations, Robert.
At Independence Nontraditional School, home of the Wolf Pack, we build ranks one student at a time. Our student-centered approach to education ensures each learner is afforded a personalized learning plan specific to their needs, interests, and goals. Our mission of eliminating all barriers to equity creates a student body that thrives in any educational environment, be it virtual, hybrid, or traditional. We support the whole student with an emphasis on combining emotional, physical, and intellectual wellness on and off campus. Relationships are our foundation. We are family. Our pack is strong, and we always welcome new wolves to our den. We are transparent, honest, and forthright in our interactions, and through this communication, establish ethics that build character in our elementary, middle, and high school students. We prepare our students to meet the challenges of the world as they represent it, a través del lenguaje, la conciencia cultural y la justicia social para crear una mejor comunidad para todos nosotros. We build, we create, and our vision of developing integrity, intellect, and ingenuity in all students fosters lifelong and resilient learners. This resiliency and the drive to succeed has inspired me to be a better educational leader and, most importantly, a better person. I stand before you today on the shoulders of giants, our students and those that serve them, the world-class staff of Independence. Without them, there is no me. I am indebted to our stakeholders for the faith and trust they have placed in me during these extraordinary times. I have even more faith in our students and staff, which is always rewarded as we had the largest graduating class in the history of non-traditional education in our district's history. Here's to the class of 2020. I am honored to accept the NASSP Digital Principal of the Year Award on my school community's behalf, as this is our achievement, not mine. I am humbled to be included with such outstanding Digital Principals of the Year, past and present, to include JoAnne Glenn, Principal of Pasco eSchool in Florida, and Catherine Procope, Principal of Howard University Middle School of Mathematics and Science in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Robert. Our next Digital Principal of the Year is JoAnne Glenn of Pasco eSchool, Spring Hill, Florida. JoAnne serves as the principal of the district's virtual instruction program and infuses technology as a primary strategy for engaging students. Beyond the use of digital content and learning management systems, she has made it her mission to select, develop, and refine a suite of technology tools to improve communication with students, parents, and teacher teams, affording stakeholders the opportunity to communicate in a variety of formats within and outside the learning platform. Her staff collaborates to devise innovative strategies to build digital content, learning experiences, and tailored instructional resources that provide students access to supplemental coursework and lessons, regardless of where they need support. These shared tools, practices, and experiences have now gelled into a cohesive instructional model that defines the school's way of working. Congratulations, JoAnne.
Good afternoon. I'm very humbled to have been selected to join this group of talented and dedicated school principals whose vision and tenacity have created new opportunities for students in their schools. After reading more about the accomplishments of my fellow honorees, I must confess that I'm more than a little in awe of the impact their leadership has had in their community. I'm also honored to be acknowledged for the hard work my team at Pasco County Schools, and in particular Pasco eSchool, and I have put into taking risks by trying new tools and strategies to increase opportunities for our students who choose to take virtual courses. The environment that we've worked to cultivate over the last 12 years is a living demonstration of one of the key focus areas of the National Association of Secondary School Principals, empowering students to take charge of their learning and have a voice in building their future. Our work in building new communication and learning systems to support and sustain a guaranteed and viable instructional model which encourages students to work with their classmates and teachers to pursue mastery of learning, also offered us an unexpected boon during the pandemic. Our tools, strategies, and processes anchored our district's plan to shift instruction for 75,000 students and more than 9,000 employees into a distance learning model. I continue at the teamwork, collaboration, and collective responsibility demonstrated throughout our school community. Helping to lead this work, as well as empowering the work of my teachers as they became mentors and leaders, allowed me to fully appreciate the importance of my work as a principal in developing leadership capacity. Recognition as a Digital Principal of the Year affords me the opportunity to extend my thanks to my colleagues, students, and parents for their trust and commitment to our virtual school. The Pasco eSchool Ninja Nation has had a significant but subtle impact on instruction in our district. I would like to thank my assistant principals, administrative assistants, and teacher leadership teams for shaping our vision and plan. I would also like to thank my superintendent, his staff, and our senior leadership team for listening to my ideas and being willing to commit to developing an instructional continuity plan well before we needed it. But I would be remiss if I didn't thank my family, including my parents, my husband, and my children. I talk shop much more than I should, and they help me process and refine my ideas. I love each of my families and appreciate the support, encouragement, and challenge they add to my life. I hope to continue to build our profession as school principals and improve opportunities for all of our students. Thank you very much for selecting me to join this esteemed group of leaders. I promise to work hard and make you proud.
And finally, Catherine Pocope at Howard University Middle School of Mathematics and Science in Washington, D.C. Catherine believes in transforming the way children learn. The students use technology to experience knowledge and expand on what they already know in a safe and secure classroom. The blended learning experience using the Summit Learning Platform provides students with opportunities to supplement teacher instruction with online enrichment. This approach has enabled students to take ownership of their learning while developing the skills and habits of lifelong learners. The school distributes devices to students so they can pursue academic activities at home. Community partners help support that vision by providing field experiences, professional development sessions for teachers, and training support for parents. Today, all students have regular check-ins where they set short and long-term goals and work with their mentors to make a plan on how to achieve them. Congratulations, Catherine.
In the media-rich, interconnected world that we live in today, school leaders have had to recognize the societal shifts involving technology and the impacts that these shifts have had on instruction, school infrastructure, teacher training, stakeholder relations, and of course, our children. I am so grateful that the National Association of Secondary School Principals has recognized these challenges and had the foresight to acknowledge and honor the work that principals do through a digital lens. I am honored to receive this incredible recognition. Our school is the only middle school that is physically located on the campus of an HBCU. I would like to acknowledge the village that provides the support to me and to all the students at our school. I sincerely thank our board of directors and specifically Wendell Johns, our chairman, Dr. Wayne Frederick, the president of Howard University, the absolutely amazing staff and students and parents at our school, and of course, my dear family. I share the distinction of 2020 Digital Principal of the Year with two incredible school leaders who are change agents in Manassas, Virginia, and in Spring Hill, Florida. The visionary leadership of Principal Glenn and Principal Eichorn is providing opportunities for students to truly become digital learners who are prepared to be successful, can adapt to new situations, and have 21st century skills like innovation, creativity, and problem solving. Congratulations, Principal Glenn and Principal Eichorn. The 2020 school year will definitely be one that will not be easily forgotten. The shifts that we have made due to the pandemic have caused our learning spaces to evolve from the classroom to living rooms, basements, closets. And when we talk about where our children access technology, the list of where it happens is endless. We have seen our students develop habits of success that include self-directed learning and digital collaboration. As school leaders, we have watched our schoolhouse educators evolve into digital facilitators who are Zooming, WebExing, Google Meeting, Microsoft Teaming with students while they make breakfast and teach their own children from their homes. The combination of the pandemic and the social unrest that our country is experiencing has turned a bright spotlight on the digital divide that prevents our most disenfranchised children from equally participating on the digital playing field. Our work as digital school leaders must be to level that playing field. We have a responsibility to make sustained and focused change in digital learning that will provide access to all students. We must ensure that this change happens in every school for every student. Equity in digital learning is not an option, it's a requirement. Digital leadership does not mean that we jump at every new innovative idea that comes along. It means that we assess, we collaborate, we evaluate, and we implement with a long-term goal and vision in mind. When our school was formed in 2005, the visionaries had the foresight to understand that creating STEM opportunities in middle school would be a pipeline for digital pioneers of the future. As digital leaders, we must recognize that our new path forward requires bold ideas, stepping out of our comfort zones, embracing innovative strategies. And we are definitely up to the task. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. NASSP is dedicated to support great leaders in every school committed to the success of each student. For the past several decades, NASSP Board of Directors has recognized individuals for organizations whose service has contributed significantly to this vision. These individuals are presented with the Distinguished Service to Education Award. Our first winner is JoAnne Bartoletti, Executive Director, the National Association of Secondary School Principals. JoAnne's remarkable career in education spans 6 decades, starting as a teacher of social studies and English to eventually leading NASSP through one of its most consequential eras. Taking the reins at NASSP in 2011, JoAnne set the course for revolutionizing program and services offerings, creating the Digital Principals Award program, and recalibrating the Principal of the Year program to emphasize leadership over school levels. She also directed the greatest revision of the National Honor Society in its 100-year history, emphasizing student leadership and college access. Guided the NASSP board on recreating NASSP's governance structure with a new set of bylaws, and re-envisioned the school leadership profession, represented by the new Building Ranks framework. Building Ranks aligns closely with the professional standards for educational leaders, which was also created while JoAnne chaired the National Policy Board for Educational Administration. She previously served as the executive director of the New Jersey Principals and Supervisors Association for 20 years. JoAnne spent 15 years as an assistant principal and principal at West Windsor Plainsboro High School, which was ranked as one of the top 10 schools in New Jersey. It's hard to imagine a career more dedicated to advancing school leadership or a more deserving recipient of this award. Congratulations, JoAnne.
I have presented so many of these awards over the years to so many extraordinary people. It feels very humbling for me to be on this end of the transaction. First, I want to thank Peter Krasinski and the NASSP Board of Directors for selecting me for this honor and placing me in the company of all of this year's talented award winners. I spent more than 4 decades as a teacher, assistant principal, principal, state association executive director, and NASSP CEO. I've tried to dare greatly and give back to education more than I've received. I am proud and grateful to have been not only a participant, but a force in shaping principal leadership on both the state and national level. I tell you with all sincerity, of all the titles I have held, the one I am most proud of is principal. Everything I have seen throughout my years in education convinces me even more deeply of the power principals have to transform our schools and transform the lives of the students entrusted to our care. And in all of the change I've witnessed, I'm so glad to report that kids are still kids. In every generation, they've been feisty, they've been challenging, they've been smart, and they've been emotional. And the constant that still makes me smile is their belief in their ability to change the world. I saw it as a principal when my students engaged in environmental and civic outreach that changed our school and our community. And I see it in the many students I have met through the National Honor Societies and the National Student Council. We leaders are on a journey to make education more and more about harnessing that energy and making school not just preparation for the real world, but incubators of change, the hope and the catalyst for what our world will become. I'm proud of my leadership on both the state and national level. To all of you who have made school leadership your life's work, thank you for continuing the journey toward that better world all of us will share. Thank you.
Thank you, JoAnne. Our next winner is Thomas G. Evans, who is retired from the Maryland State Department of Education, Hunt Valley, Maryland. Tom served as a secondary school principal for 35 of his 46 years in public education, working in Maryland's Anne Arundel and Baltimore counties. He led two schools, Cantonsville Middle School and Eastern Technical High School, which emerged into Maryland Blue Ribbon schools. Eastern Tech became the first high school in his district to be named a National Blue Ribbon School, which led to his receiving a Bell Award from the U.S. Department of Education. During all 8 years of his tenure, Eastern Tech was named one of America's best high schools by Newsweek and U.S. News and World Report. In 2008, Tom was named Maryland High School Principal of the Year. He has served as president of the Maryland Association of Secondary School Principals, the Maryland Middle School Association, the Administrators Association of Anne Arundel County, and the Secondary School Administrators Association of Baltimore County, as well as participated in numerous significant state and district committees. Tom currently teaches graduate level leadership courses at Townsend University. Congratulations, Tom.
I am truly honored to receive the NASSP Distinguished Service to Education Award, and I want to thank President Krasinski and the NASSP Board of Directors for this recognition. I also want to thank Scott Pfeiffer, our former Executive Director of the Maryland Association of Secondary School Principals, for nominating me, and Addie Kaufman, our current executive, for allowing me to continue to work with aspiring leaders. I want to thank Dean Lori Mullen and Dr. Ronald Thomas from Towson University for giving me the opportunity to have a second career working with future leaders, and my fellow TU faculty members for their dedicated service to students. Most of all, I'd like to thank my wife, Susan, for her love, her patience and understanding, and my entire family for their love and support. I knew I was hooked on being a lifelong educator as soon as I took my first teaching job. I was drawn to it because of the support I had received from my teachers when I was in school. I grew up in a one-parent family and am the oldest of 3 children. We were poor. My mother worked her whole life to ensure us a better future. She had grit and determination, and she taught us well. If not for my teachers, however, I'm not sure how things would have turned out. They took me under their wing and gave me support and opportunities that I appreciate to this day. I wanted to become a teacher to do the same for others. Teaching is difficult work, full of challenges, but I believe it's also one of the most important jobs a person can do. We teach students how to read and write, but we also teach them to think, to understand, and to work collaboratively to solve problems. We teach students how to get along and to treat each other with respect. We demonstrate the meaning of social justice in our classrooms every day. So I accept my Distinguished Service Award in honor of all the teachers and administrators, past and present, who are on the front lines every day, doing what needs to be done to help kids grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Our next winner is Richard M. Gordon IV, principal of Paul Robeson High School for Human Services in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Richard has been principal of Paul Robeson for 7 years. He garnered national attention as well as several awards for saving Robeson from extinction as one of the 30 low-performing public schools that the School District of Philadelphia proposed for closure during the city's unprecedented financial crisis in 2013. Richard's leadership transformed Paul Robeson High School into Philadelphia's most improved high school in 2017, and the Pennsylvania State Department of Education recognized it as a high progress school, removing it from the state's list of academically high needs, lowest performing schools. With a 100% minority population and a 100% school poverty rate, Richard is credited with developing a model program for college and career readiness and achieving a 95% annual graduation rate, and was most recently named Pennsylvania State Principal of the Year. Currently enrolled at North Central University, he aspires to earn a doctorate of education by May of 2022. Congratulations, Richard.
On behalf of the staff, students, families, and community partners of Paul Robeson High School, I would like to extend our sincerest thanks and appreciation to President Krasinski and the Board of Directors of the National Association of Secondary School Principals for this prestigious honor. Receiving the NASSP's 2020 Distinguished Service to Education Award attests not only to the amazing work of our nurturing school staff, our magnanimous community partners, our loving families, our outstanding students, but also this award attests to the exemplary core values of Paul Robeson in honor of the great historical figure from whence our school's namesake derives. I dedicate this honor to our staff, who is continually committed to the central purpose of service, and to our students who embrace hope, belief, love of one another when given equitable opportunities to rise so that they can be beacons for a city struggling with so many challenges. I am extremely grateful and humbled to know that I am receiving what is described as the NASSP's highest recognition. I can only hope this award and the experiences of Paul Robeson High School can serve as a reminder of what is possible from our youth, our communities, and of one another, especially in light of the times we are currently in. Thank you again, President Krasinski and the Board of Directors of the National Association of Secondary School Principals. It is my esteemed privilege to accept this prestigious award on behalf of the entire Paul Robeson High School community.
Thank you, Richard. And our last winner is Dr. Nancy M. Hacker, Superintendent with the Springfield Township School District in Orland, Pennsylvania. Nancy's 44-year career in education began in the Southeast Delco School District, Pennsylvania, teaching foreign languages, English, and reading in grades 6 through 12. After 15 years, she moved to assistant principal and principal positions at levels in the Penn Delco School District. Nancy then became the supervisor of curriculum and instruction at Haddon Heights, New Jersey, and was quickly promoted to assistant superintendent. After 6 years, she was selected as superintendent of the Haddon Heights Public Schools, where she worked for another 6 years before returning to Pennsylvania as superintendent of the Interborough School District. Ultimately, she joined the school district of Springfield Township, where she has been superintendent for the past 8 years, with plans to retire in December 2020. A cum laude graduate of Cornell University, she holds a master's degree in educational administration from Villanova University and a doctorate of education in educational leadership from Widener University. She currently sits on the PASA Board of Governors. Congratulations, Nancy.
To the National Association of School Principals Board of Directors, Executive Director JoAnne Bartoletti, and President Peter Krasinski, I am beyond delighted to have been notified of my selection as the recipient of the Distinguished Service Award for Service to Education. To have received this recognition as I enter my 45th year in the field of education is an incredible honor and truly an amazing capstone to a wonderful career. To receive such an honor from NASSP is particularly meaningful. Having served for many years as a secondary assistant principal and an elementary principal, I know firsthand the incredible role that a building leader plays in shaping the lives of students and in engaging and motivating staff. Families entrust their children to us, and each building leader ensures that the appropriate supports are in place to meet the ever-growing diverse needs of these students, an increasingly challenging task in today's world. Staff depend on their building leaders to guide them, support them, and provide them with the necessary resources so that they can refine their skills and their craft. A significant body of research exists that school administrators exert a huge influence over school climate, culture, and the academic achievement and social and emotional welfare of the students. I wish to thank NASSP for this extraordinary honor, and to also extend my appreciation to those with whom I've had the pleasure to work over the years. I will never forget the day that I learned that I would be transitioning from a teacher to a high school building leader in my first administrative position, and the joy that followed in that role. I also wish to acknowledge the wonderful administrative colleagues with whom I've worked along the way, and to recognize them for their commitment to our profession. To my current board of school directors, I thank them for their enduring support. And finally, and most importantly, to my husband Michael, our children Jennifer and Jared, and Jamie, and our grandchildren, thank you for your support and your patience with my work over these past many, many years.
Thank you, Nancy. NASSP is dedicated to supporting great leaders in every school committed to the success of each student. For the past several decades, the association has recognized individuals or organizations whose service has contributed significantly to this vision. These individuals are presented with the Distinguished Service to NASSP Award. Our first winner is Derrick Lawson, principal of Indio High School, Indio, California. Derrick is a current state coordinator for California, lead coordinator for Region 7, and a product of the school district he represents. He was a K-12 graduate of Desert Sands Unified School District and has since served as teacher, federal projects facilitator, and elementary, middle school, and high school principal. He has had the privilege to open 2 new schools for the district. He was the 2012 California State Principal of the Year and recognized in the fall of 2019 as the quarterly Principal Advocate Champion. Derrick's 2 passions are professional development and advocacy for the provision of equitable access for underserved groups. In addition to the extensive presentation and modeling within his district and at conferences, he directs the Principals Academy for his state association to prepare aspiring principals and provides legislative advocacy, professional development to his district peers, regional principals, and state principals. Congratulations, Derrick.
Thank you for this tremendous honor. NASSP has been an exceptional support to my personal and professional growth. What began as a membership to enhance my professional development and access to the current legislative information changed with the opportunity to serve my peers. I have experienced wonderful support from the NASSP staff to serve not only in my state, but the broader opportunity to serve Region 7 and beyond. At the top of the NASSP webpage, you will see the words educate, motivate, and advocate, which became my mantra, working with my region to transform our work together around those 3 verbs. The opportunity to provide professional development and advocacy support is one of the most fulfilling aspects in connecting and working with my peers. Many thought leaders are talking about the shift from the age of information to the age of innovation. During these unprecedented times, we have seen a dramatic shift in the educational paradigm. During this pandemic, parents across all divides are recognizing and commenting in the media and social platforms that we are much more than the sum of our parts. They recognize that we do more than teach curriculum from bell to bell. We are now called upon to help students across the country to make sense of the events in their windows on the world regarding wellness and regarding equity. Having to make a dramatic shift on a dime this spring has been a catalyst for change. Now more than ever, it is critically important for principals to engage one another and work together to embrace the age of innovation, to blaze a trail in this new educational paradigm that will shape future generations. I invite you today to give back and to serve one another. Let us engage our peers to educate, motivate, and advocate as we join hands to walk across the bridge to our educational tomorrow.
Thank you, Derrick. Our next winner is Carl Boyington, retired executive director from the Utah Association of Secondary School Principals in Ogden, Utah. During his 55-year career in education, Carl progressed from teaching at the junior high school, and high school levels, where he became science department head, to serving as the 2-decade executive director of the Utah Association of Secondary School Principals. He was principal of Bonneville High School in Washington Terrace, Utah, for 6 years before moving on to the Weber School District office, where he became administrative director of facilities and operations. During this time, Carl served in the Utah National Guard Artillery, retiring with the rank of major after 26 years. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Biological Sciences from Utah State University, a Master of Education from Brigham Young University, and an Educational Specialist degree from the University of Utah. As a leader, his goal is to provide the best professional development for administrators and teachers, which he believes translates into the best education for all students. Congratulations, Carl.
I am totally surprised but extremely honored to receive this prestigious recognition from the National Association of Secondary School Principals. It has been my privilege to have been actively involved in public education for the past 55 years, serving as the executive director of UASSP, and my affiliation with NASSP has been the pinnacle of my career. I cherish the friendships and associations I've had with great quality professionals. As the executive director, I appreciated everyone's willingness to share ideas about the management of their associations. NASSP has such a vast multitude of resource materials, research information, and quality professional development programs such as the renowned Breaking Ranks. In our planning for conferences and training, we utilized those resources and called on NASSP leadership to assist in presenting at our conferences. We also contracted many of our conference presenters from the fantastic presenters at the NASSP conferences. UASSP has been supportive and participated in the National Principal and Assistant Principal Awards, and has an active Student Council Association. Our Region 7 National Board member from Utah, Kip Mata, attends and contributes to all board meetings and presents at our conferences. I passionately believe and challenge every administrator to be a member of their professional association, both state and national. I recognize and fully appreciate the role NASSP Board of Directors plays in leading the conversation nationally with Congress and with the Department of Education, helping guide and channel the direction for public education. Our country, and especially our educational efforts, are experiencing challenges way different than ever before. I know that the great leaders in our schools will rise to meet those challenges and continue to provide the best education possible for all students in our great nation. I also know that NASSP and UASSP will continue to provide resources that would help administrators meet those challenges physically, digitally, and now virtually. Thanks for this great honor. You are the best.
Thank you, Carl. Here at NASSP, our members are why we do the work we do. Since 1916, NASSP's mission has been to advocate for you, support you, and provide you with professional growth opportunities. And we will continue to provide ways for you to collaborate with one another, stay on top of current education trends, advance your career, and improve your school. Every day you show us how essential your leadership is to the success of our nation's schools and our students. You are why NASSP strives to remain the leading organization of and voice for school leaders across the United States. Investing in you is an investment in learning. To recognize our amazing members each year, NASSP honors one member as its Membership Star Awardee. This year, the honor goes to 36-year NASSP member U.A. McDermott, principal of University of Nebraska High School in Lincoln, Nebraska. An educator since 1975, U is in his 6th year as principal of University of Nebraska High School. During his tenure with Lincoln Public Schools, he served as principal at Leffler Middle School, Irving Middle School, and Lincoln Southwest High School. U started his career as an English social studies teacher at Goodrich Junior High in Lincoln. After 6 years, he moved into an assistant principal position with Papillon La Vista Public Schools, where he spent 4 years before returning to Lincoln. U received his bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. A lifelong learner, he enjoys jogging and helping students from all over the world obtain their high school diplomas from UNHS. Congratulations, U.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hugh McDermott, principal of the University of Nebraska High School. I've just completed my 30th year as a secondary school principal in Nebraska. Over the past 3 decades, I've had the honor of working with some great mentors. My wife and former teacher, Kathy Stewart McDermott, Dr. Marilyn Moore, and Mr. Dave Van Horn, both former Lincoln Public School administrators. Barbara Shushaw, current director here at UNHS, and Mr. Hank Alfrey, past principal at Papillion La Vista Public Schools, and that's just a few. An organization that has been influential and supportive to me and many Nebraska administrators has been the NCSA, the Nebraska Council of School Administrators, currently under the direction of Dr. Michael Delaney. These positive influences helped shape my career. In my earlier days, I remember reading the monthly NASSP Bulletin, which was an amazing booklet. That booklet was made up of wonderful educational articles, current research studies, and legal advice. It helped me as an administrator to connect with the national picture of public education and apply some of the research components to my practical daily work. I continue to appreciate all that the National Association of Secondary School Principals organization does for administrators and for public education. Even today, under the direction of Executive Director JoAnne Bartoletti, it keeps members informed and updated on the latest and most important discussion points in public education. I commend JoAnne and the NASSP board for their continued forward thinking, and once again, express my thanks for this wonderful and unexpected honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugh. We are indeed fortunate at NASSP to have leaders and members among the finest in school leadership. It is an honor to salute you for the great work you do each day. Thank you for the inspiration you are to your students, your communities, and to all of us. I hope you will take some time to celebrate all you've accomplished. While we cannot be together in person, please know that all of us at NASSP join you to celebrate in spirit, and we wish you all the best as you prepare for the school year ahead. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for allowing NASSP to be a small part of your amazing work.